Oh yeah.
I thought the cars in the game could use some upgrading, and while I spent a lot of time making this and do like it, I don't think it really matches the style of the game, so I'm just gonna redo these cars. So here's a before and after. I tried to stick to like the original idea, but just make it overall like more smooth. So here's a couple in game, and yeah, I definitely think it matches the style of it all like a lot more. I added some more text in, where if you don't have the spray can, it'll tell you, hey, I need tools for this. And I figured I could kind of just use that again for just like any crime you don't have the tools for, be it armed robbery or boosted whips or what have you. I added a working health bar for all the tools. I was kind of torn on like where I wanted it, but I figured just like this green box that slowly goes away as you use it would be pretty perfect for what I needed it for. And I had this ludicrous idea to get the weapon selector working, which doesn't sound too ridiculous, but after spending like hours watching array tutorials, I decided on a crazy workaround just so I could avoid having to look at an array again. These are not scribbles found in a serial killer's journal. This was my concept for how to map out the tool selector without having to use any kind of like array or whatever people use for inventory systems. I use a ton of global variables because that's about as far as my game development iceberg goes. And so every weapon type has a global variable that's attached to it. The fist is 1, the knife is 2, the pistol's 3, and the rifle is 4. And so using this logic, if you are on 1 and you press the right arrow, you would have weapon 2, i.e. the knife, so long as the player's instance variable of having the knife is true. And so I put this into effect in Construct, mapping out a way to press the button and move to the correct weapon. However, in practice, this did not come close to coming to fruition. It made so much sense in my head and on that piece of paper I was looking at, but no matter what, it did not work. And so this has been how I quit game dev for good. No, what I really did was took some time away from MobCorps, joined the 1am game jam. I had a blast doing that, made a video on it, and got right back into ye old grind. And honestly, it's been really good to step away for a minute. I don't generally spend more than a couple days on a game, and MobCorps has quite obviously taken more than a couple days. So getting back into the swing of things, I decided I needed the pistol and the rifle to have a projectile to keep the momentum going, and I would just figure out the weapon selector stuff later. To be honest, I'll probably just buy this inventory system from 4 Construct. It really seems to have everything that I need to do. I've been checking out their stuff and they make a lot of really cool plugins for Construct, which can be super helpful, especially for someone like me who's pretty new at game dev. Even though I've been doing it for like a year, I still feel super new at the whole ordeal. I decided we needed to be able to shoot guns, so I took the enemy projectile, copied it, made a new one, just called it projectile, flipped that bad boy, and there we go. We got a whole new bullet. I put in some logic for it and figured the speed should be about like twice as much as the background speed. That sounded good. I was profoundly wrong on the speed of this thing. It just goes on for days and days. I eventually settled on 100 times the speed, which is cool, but they all seem to go at different speeds, which is pretty weird. Like, you see there's some slower bullets than others. I don't know why that is. Oh well. At this point, I just wanted to make sure all the weapons' health decayed, and even though the weapon selector didn't work, you could still buy a weapon and use it. You know what? I'm pretty happy with that. I hope y'all have enjoyed, and see you later.
And 420.